What's going on, everybody? Cynaster here. I'm setting up. I play D&D 5E every Sunday. I'm new to the streaming thing, by the way. I should start doing a little bit of an intro. I love gaming. I love creation games a lot. So right now, I've been really into Dungeons & Dragons 5e for the last year or so. I've been playing in a few games on and off. I've really gotten into being the dungeon master itself. You know, I always find we're always in need of a dungeon master, so I feel like I took up the role, and it fits very well in the sense that, yeah, creation is totally my thing. I love writing, drawing. I'm not good at a lot of it, but I did enjoy it. So I've been running this campaign. I had a lot of ideas, inspiration behind it, and the big thing about this is I found I tried to do a lot of making my campaign, keeping it structured. This is what's going to happen step by step by step, and I find it did not work for me personally. I have a lot of sporadic players. I should point out that I also don't play in person. We play via Roll20, the website, and using Discord and other. Basically, I couldn't get enough people together, and I really wanted to play for a lot of years. So this finally became accessible to a lot of people. So Roll20 became our application of choice. But I also have an issue with players. I've got a couple guys, 2-3 guys that are definitely there all the time, but I've got a few drop-in players. So to try and make stuff structured and have players not miss out on content was a really tricky thing for me. I spent a lot of time making it, and I mean, yeah, the other players could fill them in, but this way I'm allowed to. Well, I guess it helps me learn. I play a really adaptive play style, GM style, I guess. I don't know how a lot of other GMs do it. I've only ever played with 2 other GMs. One was my cousin, and he is very heavily rule-based, I find. I mean, that's fine. He knows all the rules in the Dungeon Masters. I'm newer. I don't know them all. So I'm very flexible, and I want my players to have fun and do cool things. So different play styles. But so for me, it works a lot being able to just adapt. I'm really good at being able to do that, pull up content with the use of the internet these days and the sources and like Reddit. I mean, there's so much Dungeons & Dragons information out there. Like if you come across this video, I'll be very surprised because there's that much content. I'm doing this basically for me because I talk aloud while I'm doing this a lot anyways, trying to figure out. So what I'm going to be doing here is I'm just going to be going through my process of figuring out kind of what's going to happen for today. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I have an idea of where I want it to go. I think I'm going to introduce a big element, but I told the guys, like my players know, I do a lot of just describing. I really try and set the scene for them, the mood. So I'm going to go with the flow here. If you want to check this out, I'll paste this in the Twitch channel here. This is an actual link to... seems like I've got chat twice on my thing here. Give me a second. Chat overlays. Twitch chat. Mixer chat. Okay. Well, maybe there's a combination. So we'll just leave that one down there for now. It's probably hard to read. Anyways, that's a link to my actual campaign. There's a website called World Anvil. It's a great source for dungeon masters to be able to organize their stuff and make stuff viewable to their players or not. So this is where I got my synopsis written down so players can read it. It's kind of a mess. Like, my brain really goes on. All of a sudden I'll come up with a super idea, and this is kind of where I come and plant it down. I try and put it and organize it. Excuse me. But you can see I do have some of it. It's a different world than your general. Give me a second here. One of my favorite features of it, though, I'll just go to this quick, is it has a visual timeline. I'm a really visual guy, so I can go through this, and I use it for me and my players to really kind of show what happened. So these are very loose details I have way early on in the creation of my world or universe. I've added some big events and set timelines to help me visualize and be able to come back here and check when stuff actually happened, because I've already done one event where they kind of got pulled into the past a little bit and they got to see like a vision, and so now if they ask, I can say, oh, that was somewhere between excuse me, I'm getting a cold here. And so anyways, it goes on like this. But so I use a lot of resources to make my content here, right? I've had Photoshop for the last few years. Paid more money than I have for its use, but I always find I used it for so many years unlicensed, so now it's time that I have money to buy it. So Photoshop I use, but not so much. There's a lot of actually smaller programs I use. So, I mean, I started off and I wanted to make a world, right? So this is actually the second. Do I have both? I don't think I have them both on here. But there was a random map generator website. Searching through either Reddit or one of the other sources, I came across I think it was a website for this one that would generate a world, and with I'd say reasonable, realistic coastlines, and I liked how it kind of shaded and divided. I think there was more to it. I think I could have added areas and like faction zones and stuff like that, but I found this really worked for me. So this was the outline that I took, and so then what I actually decided to use was there's another program called Incarnate, or not program, a website. I wish it was a program. So anyways, it's a very if I go to create a new one, I think you can use it for free and standard. I can't remember for sure. Oh, my subscription's down right now. Well, I guess. So anyways, this is a site that I'm not going to be making that today, but so the steps was I created that, and then so I decided off where they were going to start, and then the first part of it was I created this map here. So this is just my style. I don't know how everybody else does it, but I totally started by creating just this coastline along here and basically expanding the world with it. I really wanted it to get that sense of immensity. So this was where the whole thing started off, was in Belden. So when this map was first implemented, I basically had it grayed out. They could only see a small area. And none of these big areas like Mist Tide and the ruins or anything were even here. As the players played and I kind of figured out what they wanted to do, I decided to add to it. So I gave them a lot of option as well. Like this little marking here was one of the first big things they went to do. They did a couple things around town. At one point do I still have the other continent? I do have another continent, but they haven't been there. So anyways, I'll just skip to where we were. So I'm going to have to go and read, I keep all my info, Desert Ruins. That's the loot. So this helps me oh yeah, so they haven't got their dazzling chain armor. Did they get all this stuff? This is the problem when we don't pay for a while. Oh, so they haven't done this stuff yet. This they found in the desert, I believe. Sunday, June 30th. This was the last big huck. Okay, so this is part of... So what I need to figure out today, because I plan on them getting potentially back to town, I've had some ideas go across. So basically, they had been told, or they've been instructed that they could have 3 tasks. They work for the guild hall, and people have been going missing. There's been rumors of undead, and there was something going on with crystals, and there's a large crystal mine that was down south here that potentially could have been a prime target. So I let the players pick what they wanted to do, and I had other members. I bet if I go back to the guild hall, they're probably still all hanging out here. Yeah, so they had a big meeting with the guild hall. So this is the one part I got to figure out: who did what and went where. So I'm gonna make a new handout, and I'm just realizing this. Hopefully none of my friends are watching this, because you guys better not be. Yeah. I'm gonna see what's gonna happen. We're gonna put Sunday, August 25th. I'm gonna edit. So I think what I was, so I like all throughout the time I have my time off, I'm thinking about, you know, what I kind of want to happen. And the great thing about Dungeons and Dragons is it is super easy to slow down the game. Like if I get to a point where I am out of content, all I have to do, no joke, is throw in combat. I mean, my players are new enough, which partially helps. I didn't mention that earlier. I have new players, so they're very adaptive. They don't know all the strict, rigorous rules of that can be applied. So, anyways, we have a lot of fun. But oh, I forgot where I was going with that. Anyways, yeah, this is different doing it live. Anyways, I'm sitting there thinking about stuff going on throughout the week, right? So I've got my players here, Control N, Control K, Control O. So Navi is a druid, one of my players. Jormik is a cleric, one of my players. Lojo is a paladin, one of my players. I have a couple more, but these are my three main guys, so I made sure they were there for this meeting. And then so we've got Tish and Ty. These are two dwarfs that are part of the guild. Everard Vistal, he was captured by enemies and rescued by the group. He's another member of the guild. Selena Ashland, Eileen, and Gerald. All other members of the guild that are basically, oh, and Nora up top. John Marston is the guild head. So basically, these members were going to be sent out doing other tasks as well. So the main thing, I think what I was going to do is they were going to send three of their strongest. So I think Tish, Ty, and I'm going to put Aelin. So what we're going to say is in the GM notes. So this is going to be like one of my main things. Actually, no, okay, so we're going to have guild member locations. That's what we'll do. So Tish, Ty, and Island. We're going to put three of the... No, I don't want to specify the strongest. Just Ty and Aelin headed west past Verloch towards Dead Rock. Dead Rock is kind of the frontier. I've mentioned it to my players a bunch. So towards this rock, Dead Rock, to investigate the missing guild members. Okay, so then what I'm going to do for my sake is I'm going to move these three. Why does she got weird markers? You're okay. You're alright, Tish. So these three, I'm going to smack them in this room together. And so another thing I'll note was you guys are looking through, I didn't make all my content. I basically make some of it, but I'd say I make about, the maps that I use, I make probably about 60%. Stuff that's like this and heavily detailed, I love to support other other content creators. Let me see here. It's probably still got his logo on it. Patron. Spiku. I don't know how to do it. I bought a couple of. I've subscribed for a bit and then I unsubscribe and get a few maps here and there. I try to do that to a lot of different patrons because I mean there's a lot of good content out there. Like that's my thing. I realize is I like creating, but you could almost do this as a DM with like zero experience. You could just go out and pay $5 for this guy probably and get like all his maps. And man, you could like that's how I used to do a lot of my campaign was I would just link together in between different maps and I would tell my players what was happening. I'd be like, oh, you guys were walking along the forest, blah blah, you got to the city, and then as you're leaving the city, then you come across so and so, and it's an awesome destroyed ruins map or something. And so it saves a lot because like content creation takes a lot of time. I'm spending even more time talking, but I don't need that. I don't really need. I leave that open just in case. So those three are going to be gone. So then there was the mines. Okay, so Everard and Cynaster are going to be not really like D&D music. That's what I was aiming for. I was trying a new playlist here. No electronica, orchestral. Anyways, I learned to always write in GM notes just in case I do have something to show the players, then all this stuff is hidden. Okay. Anyways, so what did I say? Selena and Everard headed south to investigate the mines. So part of what I had planned is there's going to be this big arc in the campaign soon, and I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out when to introduce it. I was thinking about it happening when they were on their way back from the desert, because that's where they are right now. They're going to be headed back from the ruins. I was hoping they'd see this event. And then that could decide... See, this is why I don't like trying to predict the future. It is not already this part of my job. Part of my job is trying to figure out what I'm going to sell at work before I sell it. It's not fun. But so I don't like doing it in this either because I can almost come up with a response on the fly. And the other thing I'm learning to do is I'm learning how to shift. Doesn't matter what they want to do, I can make it so they kind of head there. Like so, for example, they didn't want to go through the desert at all. They had one player for that round who'll probably be here tonight actually, who was a smart player and he was playing a ranger. So not only does he know not to go into a desert because he's played Dungeons and Dragons and he knows how hostile the environment is, but he was actually playing a ranger to back it up, if that makes sense. I didn't let him get away with the whole meta out of game. Like I'll pull that, like I'll be like, no, your character doesn't know how bad a desert is. So anyways, they tried to not go through it, and no matter what they did, I basically made it seem like an awful idea, and so finally they ended up cutting through the desert, and all that content that I had created, I got to use. Because I had been there before where they decided, oh, I don't want to do this, and I learned now nothing's wasted content. But, so anyways, I'm trying to figure out, I want them to see this big event. This big event is going to happen, but the idea is that pretty much the entire content is going to see it. It's going to take place, if I go here, I'm not even going to be done it yet. So what I've done on this map is you can actually see, you can tell where the maps divide. This is actually 6 separate maps I had created with Incarnate, designed them to overlay with each other. So somewhere, let's see, if we look at this, I have another version of the map elsewhere. Oh gosh. Can I find it? That's Flowscape. Flowscape is one of the greatest tools I have ever seen for dungeon creation content. 2019 D&D Valier maps, Valier zone. So as a rough example, get my slobs back open. I don't know why this Microsoft Paint thing is awful. It takes forever to open up. Just like that. That was see, Microsoft, get your shit together. So as you guys can see, I kind of divided it up. So basically this event, I haven't made these 2 maps yet. I've got these 6 done right here. This event is basically going to happen right in the center of these. I'm debating, I think it's going to be right here. So I'm still going to have to do at least 4 more maps, right? But like I said, time is different in D&D. It could be months before we get here. So I'm trying to figure out if I should have this event happen tonight or if I should. But again, I can't say for sure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to plan events around it. So now I know that those 3 were basically going to Dead Rock, which is, I think it's around the edge of this map, and there's a big swamp area over here. So this is where I'm going to introduce, I don't even figure out what I'm going to introduce it there. I've got some back ideas that I want, some other obstacles that I want to distract them from the main story. Well, so other stuff can happen. Or I really like it when all of a sudden one player's like, "Oh my god, we totally forgot about so and so and so," and I'm like, "Yeah, you did. I wonder what he's been doing." And then they're like, "Oh my god," and they start thinking about all this stuff. And then so what they'll do is they'll say stuff. "Oh, maybe he's doing this, maybe," and then I'm like, Then that just adds to my ideas. I don't know. All my players really help me. I want it to be catered for all of us, right? I know how I want to play it, but I don't know how they do. So I want to try and make it good for everyone. So I'm going to have some event happen there. And I'm talking about world changing. Sky's going to open up, crazy lights, and everyone's going to see it happen. And then so everyone's going to want to go there and inspect. And so I think what I'm going to do then, I'm not a huge fan of this playlist here. I'm trying out this new music player thing. Alright, let's see what these guys can do, if anything. So, to investigate the mines. Well, so I'm gonna make sure they have 1 or 2 encounters as they're leaving the desert, because they're probably not gonna. Oh, actually, you know what I should check? I've also got. I planned ahead. I play a lot of Minecraft, so I decided what would be a good way to do it. Divide it by biomes. So, oops. I decided to split it up a little bit. So, right, so there's some snow there, forest grasslands. I think I modified it a bit. Desert, even more desert is down south. I go. So yeah, it's heavy jungle and swamp. So part of my plan was to have, so there's another underlying element of Dragonkin. Dragonkin are no longer, like, technically, people haven't seen them. They don't know Dragonkin exists. They'd already found skeletons. So I was kind of planning on making there, like, be this crazy dragon city somewhere, Dragonkin city, or be multiple types of Dragonkin. So maybe if I put, but I feel like that should be the threat, is that there's these Dragonkin that aren't letting adventurers proceed further. And I really want my players to get out of the whole combat thing. I want them to get into being able to talk and role play. You know, like I like to role play. It's new to all of them. So what I'm going to do then is, that's going to be my main theme. So let's go back to my notepad here. See, this is how I do it. I just decided this right now. Because I knew the Dragonkin were going to be a theme and an element. Investigate the missing guild members. So I put a bunch of big stars. They have encountered and been captured by Dragonkin. Players who head to Deadrop can get more detailed information from a survivor. From a survivor who is put brackets. Survivor who is recovering from wounds. He is mercenary who was. See, this detail might be going too far. See, I feel like I'm always going too far. I was thinking about him being a member of the guild, but then I'm like, oh, I already got lots of members. But his wounds could be really bad, and maybe that's why they're not moving him, and he could potentially die. I could put in some crazy unknown poison from the swamp, and that's why they couldn't heal it. And then the poison can also... Wait, undead? Are undead immune to poison? I'm pretty organized. If I go to mobs, I have undead section. So if I go to a ghoul, damage immunity is poison. But what if they made a poison specifically designed to counteract the undead? That sounds cool. That sounds really cool. See, that's the awesome thing. I can just decide what I want, and that's that. I probably don't need all this detail, and they might not even get there, but here's the thing. They are going to get there eventually. So whether or not they get there tonight, now I have this lingering idea in the back of my mind as to what's happened. They get there, because then the first thing they're going to ask, trust me, where did you guys get this information? Where does this information come from? You know, my players aren't, I'm not playing with a bunch of young kids, or I'm playing with adults, right? So that's why I have to... Me trying to plan stuff was a futile attempt, because they would, no matter what I planned, they would ask questions outside that realm. So what's the point of me planning a whole bunch? So that's why I just go over vague ideas. So here's a mercenary who was no, I'm gonna put he, like, guild member who is suffering from wounds. Is a guild member who was attacked in the jungled swamp. I'm gonna call it a jungled swamp. Who's attacked in the jungled swamp. Yep. Big trees in the jungles. I'm gonna go past the the swamp. So I see now I get a visualization in my head. So what we'll do is we'll go back here. So when I think of this area, heavy jungle and swamp. So I'm going to say it's intermittent. So we're going to say this big portion here is going to be swamp. And once you get past it, what is the green? Forest and grasslands up there. But so we're going to say there is something along this part, the heavy forest. Okay. Maybe there'll be, there could be a crazy Dragon King city meeting right in the middle of the mesa, the desert, the jungle swamp. And maybe that's why they've been stopped. See, I like that a lot. So, because basically players have been there for 5 years. So, why haven't they explored further? Players haven't asked that much questions, but they've been explained that they've only gone so far. So we're going to say conditions are kind of get crazy down here. Lots of storms around this cove, and we're saying maybe could be creatures if they ask even more. They have been up here, but then it gets frozen and Arctic and dangerous up here. So that limits them to this general cove here. I'm going to say sea creature. Crazy sea creature. And if they ever feel brave enough, there you go. Bam, look at that. So sea creature by the desert. So nobody would really want to travel through a massive desert to get around, right? And so they haven't gone too far south. But every time they try and head this way, that's why they're getting cut off. Boom, the dragonkin. So we're going to say there's a dragonkin are residing here. So now we're going to bring that element in. So I don't think I even need to do that event right now. If all I say is that I'm trying to remember what I told them and how magical the world is. It's not very crazy, but I feel like high-powered mages are able to send messages to each other. No, you know what? Bird. We're going to go with that one. We're going to keep it nice and easy and say that they're able to send messages by bird. So if players decide to go back to the guild hall and report on what they see, they get word that because it's been quite some time. Now maybe I should do the event. I really want to force them over there. And then, yeah, so that's what I'm probably going to do. So they're going to head back through the desert. I'm going to have them go 1 day east. I'm probably going to have it, so we go back to the maps, we go back to here, we go back to this map here. So the players are south at the mountains right here. Technically, they're inside these ruins, right? I basically let them move, which is pretty much to rule. They can move 30 miles per day. By horse, they can move a little bit further. So every once in a while, I'll give them a bonus hex, but not very often. So 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 days. After that point, they've probably almost been out for a month. So I'm gonna make them have at least one encounter in the desert. I've got still got them open. Pictures, maps. Let's throw this one in my September. All those have been. So these are I almost want to open up Flowscape just to give it some props. As a dungeon master, man, I can literally whip out a map in about 2 minutes, and I'm not talking a cheap ugly map. I'm talking a nice looking map. So if I just open edit, just because I think it's quicker. This one I spent a little bit of time making, but that's because I was playing around with the lights. But no joke, this one was about 2.5 minutes after I'd woken up this morning. Grass, rocks, you can tell it's a desert. Easy peasy. This one here. Same thing. Look at that. Like, I mean, talk about detailed. Is this 100%? Yeah, I made them smaller. So, I mean, it gets a little bit blurry. But as a player, you're more in it for the combat and stuff, right? So, but think about that. I've just got 2 custom maps that I made. I didn't have to go searching around because I know what I want, right? Boom, done like that. So, if I need more maps, I can make them. So I've got lots of grassland maps. If I need another grassland map, I can make one. I think I've got a couple set up, and I told my players know that, like this, it's going to be a general map for when you're between the desert and the grassland. You know, that's just how it's going to be. I should get rid of all this stuff in case we have to use it again. See, I just go move all them. They were camping out. See, got my horse tokens. This is an awesome program, this Roll20. If you've always wanted to try Dungeons & Dragons and you never have, get some friends together, do it on here. Control, K, delete. Okay. So anyways, I'm gonna have to get really like descriptive though, because what I have envisioned for this event is it's gonna be but if the event happens, wouldn't the dragon oh, maybe that's why they're finally able to get through the desert. Haha, see? That makes perfect sense. So rather than it being heavily guarded by the dragonkin, after this event happens, the players are able to actually head through. So what I have planned then is, let's go back to the guild hall. So these 2 went down south, and then I had, so I'm gonna have Gerald, who's a nomad ranger guy anyways. He's gonna be off doing his own. Same with Tianthra. She's kind of mysterious. So she's gonna be probably headed towards east already. And then I think Nora is actually gonna go, no, Nora and John are gonna stay together. If anything, they're gonna come teleporting in all crazy later. I'm gonna have to search it, but John Marston's high-level mage at the guild hall, so probably at some point I'll have him and Nora appear. So I'm gonna separate them all like that in case GM there. So in case players come back, which I don't really suspect them to, I'm gonna make it a little different. Nora's gonna be out in the garden, and I'll have John. Is that like a bathhouse or something? It's like a treehouse or something. I don't even know what it is. But John's going to be doing some ritualistic prayer in here. How about that? Ritualistic Arcanist prayer. So these guys, I'm pretty sure, are all going to be here tonight. I let travel go by pretty quick. I don't overburden my players with too much combat unless they really want to. I mean, I always throw one in every once in a while just to throw. I like, as they get stronger, to throw in new monsters. And I think actually some of my players are ready to go up to level 5. I just realized that. Okay, so boom, they get out of the desert. Sky opens up. Light beam comes down. They can see it. It goes from nighttime to pretty much daytime. The sky is bright. A minute later, boom, they hear this sound wave. The whole ground rumbles. You know, they can see the clouds circling around this thing, and it lasts for about 2 minutes. And then the beam gets smaller, and it's gone. That's where players would be. They'll have Verlage right there to decide whether or not they want to go left or camp out at Verlage, and yeah, or go back east and talk to John Marston. I think that sounds like a pretty good outline for tonight. So basically, what I want to make sure I got ready. See, I don't. Why don't we just go make a quick flowscape map? Let's get off of here. I feel like I'm going to get them into the grass, into the grasslands a bit. We're going to go over to this program here, run through a Steam-like application called Itch. See if anybody... No one's excited about D&D. Oh well. I'll be able to go back and watch later. Full escape. I said play. Oh, there we go. Ooh, no. I want... yep. That's what I want. Okay. This is, yeah. Watch how quick I come up with a map here. So I just mean... Sometimes they go really in-depth and you can do some really cool stuff with this. I like to create some scenery shots sometimes so that I can give my players a picture. Like this, that would be a scenery shot. You know, you guys come across, I've heard of horses, but amongst them, you notice one of them, their body is half human. You know, there's a centaur amongst them or something like that. But that, to me, you know, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Then you, I don't know. I don't do it all the time, but sometimes I'm just too lazy to be descriptive. Other times I'm hugely descriptive. So hopefully this isn't too hard on the stream. You know what? I should get rid of Photoshop too. No save. Isometric look. Zoom out, zoom right out. Isometric. I never even thought about that. You probably could do it in this program too. There we go. Did I drop any frames? No, I didn't. Look at that. Alright. So like, the whole program just starts off with it pre-generating this. It's going to add in its bushes and rocks and flowers and like, I mean, it's a pretty cool program. And then, so I'll just stay here. And then, so all we get to do is, well, I won't even do that part yet. You get to move the camera around, right? So this has got that background. But like, oh, look at that, man. Or I could tell them they're going through a path, right? So I can change. The biggest thing is the lighting and the background, right? So, where are they going? Are they going downhill? I like that one right there. So, I don't need it to rotate, and I get to find... How's that? So we can go like that. Oops, that's not the one I meant to do. So, but this is where we get to change the lighting. I'm gonna change the height. Where do I want it? Shining right down. Oh yeah, see, that's getting nice. Anyways, so, but what I'm gonna do is I just wanted to show you guys that. I'm going to do the easy way. So all I'm going to do, what is it, P? P generates a new one. And so at first I had an issue with the size of stuff, and I don't like the shape of that one. Okay, that ground's pretty flat and smooth, right? That's actually not a bad one. But when I go here, I thought I could just get rid of... I thought there was a way to get rid of the plants. Yes. Oh, no, not like that. Anyways, you can go like this too, that's what I find. So if you find a decent one, a decent shape, or random it. Okay, so that one. So basically, if I want grass, it's simple as layers, right? So the way you do it is think about it like, yeah. There's two different patterns you can use, right? So, you know, you can have it heavy grass, But then the trick is you can also use the mask. See, look at that. Changes how it's scattered. And then I think, is the Fresnel? No. No. Tiling? Tiling. You can see, right? It changes how big it is. So when I change it to minimum, to me it looks pretty nice. It's not so... you can also change the terrain size. I don't think it really matters too much. Sometimes I do it a little bit to use WSAD, Q and E to control it. Brightness affects it a little bit. But so anyways, you know, that's not too bad right there, right? And then it's as simple as coverage. So up here, you get to select the sizes and how it pops out. You know, I like to go trees first. I don't do too many trees on my maps, but I always make sure the size is small enough. I don't want massive trees. So, oh, see, now that makes the map look too small though, or too big. See, do a couple of those. And I try and leave it open sometimes, but I'm gonna put a big old, like, evergreen tree in this one, like, right here on this hill. Bam, like that. Okay, put a few, some shrubbery. Put some shrubberies. Ooh, those are big shrubberies. They've got a handy dandy eraser tool. I don't want my shrubbery looking like trees. So we're going to knock that down a notch. What are these ones? And I think you can change the variation. I mean, a lot of times you don't notice it, but then once you do a few layers, like watch, you'll see. We go like that. Then we'll throw in a little bit of color here and there. Some purples. Some pinks. Can't even really see them right now, but it'll all add to it later. Is that one even going? Maybe not. Yeah, I can see a little bit of it. But then we need always need a little bit of rocks, right? Just makes it look like there's stuff going on. How big is big? Sure, throw a few rocks here and there. Mushrooms under the trees. Always throw some sticks around, some logs. Okay, so I mean, right now it doesn't look like much. Throw a few more sticks. Yeah, lots of sticks. It's a forest. Who are we kidding? Trees. Throw a couple skimpy little trees on the edges. I always like to throw trees on the edge. It just kind of closes the map in, right? Could add houses, but I'm not going to. As soon as you add a house, your players are like, "Oh, what's there? Can we explore it? Maybe there's a body and money." And it's like, I don't want to do all that. Okay, should I put a couple? I'll put some butterfly, dragonfly, and birds flying around the trees. How about that? So then, now check this out. So that was it, man. Like, I feel like that's been like a couple minutes. So once we get closer, once we change the scenery a bit, it can end up being pretty decent, right? Yeah, like that. Look at that. So then we go back into our lighting. But it is like an overcast day, right? Change the temperature. No, I don't need the temperature. Don't need no lens flare. Don't need no sun shaft. Sky rotation. Yeah, what are you saying? Whoa, no, not that much. Sky brightness. Oh, that's a little better. So I mean, they're not going to be fighting a dragon. But they could fight wolves, right? I could put snarling wolves. But no. Sorry guys. You're the weakest link. See, I could add so much more foliage. Where's all this wispy grass, right? So now let's go like this. If we put some right in front, that goes a long way. Put some of this grass here. See, like, it doesn't look very alive. But then boom, you add that little bit of detail here and there. So I'm not too much about this, but I'm just going to take this screenshot while I'm here. So screenshot, I like to check the settings first because I feel like it always lowers to that one. Texture resolution, let's go medium. I feel like the ground could look a lot better than it does right now. I just don't want to lose too many frames. Oh, it doesn't even change the ground. Anyways, we'll just do good enough. Boom, boom, boom. We'll go take a picture like that, and then this is where it actually comes into, we go to map. We switch it to ortho. Boom. So let's get rid of the background. Let's go back to lighting, and there. No. I want it brighter, but I don't need a layered background. There we go, I like that one. Lighting. There we go, increase the intensity a bit. So pretty much that's it. So let's just change white balance, exposure, now camera field of view. Look, I can't get my shadows good, it's weird. Usually you can get a nice big tree shadow. Let's go out of here for a second. Oh, see, that looks nice, but why does my tree shadow look like shite? It's like, look at it right there. That looks not too bad. Settings. Shadows. Shadow distance. Anyways, I'm gonna stop messing around with that. I'm just gonna go back to ortho and see what happens here. There we go. See, that looks a little better. There we go. I don't know what was going on there. That's what I wanted to do. I just like to pick a little bit and say, it's midday here. Little shadows. Okay, boom. Look at that. And then I go size. I like to take it ×2. You can put a grid over top if you want. I don't do it. I like to have my own grid after. So boom, just like that, I go quit. And then I go open folder and explore, boom, 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 boom. Look at that. I'm gonna go edit. I go view, zoom out. Oh no, zoom out. I go select. And pretty much that's it. That's a map done. I mean, and that took me longer because I was explaining it and getting picky, but I didn't need to be that picky. Crop that. Crop it like it's hot. Alright, so I like to go resize, and I always make mine a consistent 16 or 12, and I don't always maintain it. Boom. 16 by 16, and then I like to be organized, so I'm going to save this as, should be in that folder. See, I've got it, so we're going to call it grassland underscore trees, and then I throw in a size. I pretty much always make my maps 30 by 30, so I throw that in there. I know it's a perfect square. If I know I could do it 25 by 25 if I wanted to, or okay. Pretty much got a map there, so let's go back here. I go upload, choose a file, right back to pictures. Oh, it's still uploading it. Oh, phooey. Hurry up and process there. While that's processing, I'm going to take a quick break. Do I have my overlay, my AFK? Yeah, I do. I'm going to put it on mute. See how it looks. Okay, be right back. Alright. That's done uploading. Choose a file. Let's try this again. Round 2. Picture. Boop, boop, boop. So just, there you go. Something new. Took me 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. I don't have to give a shout out to anybody except for Fullscape for making it easy for me. And that's why I try and limit file size too, because you guys can see how long this takes just for that 16 by 1600 PNG. Well, this is unusually long. Okay, come on there. There we go. Had to give it a little jiggle. So we'll go create a new page. This is the one big complaint I have about Roll20 is this part, is that this needs to be fixed. Like the map organization is atrocious. But so excuse me. They've been to the bridge. So this one I'll archive. And this one, I'll change it to 30 by 30. And I sometimes use this stuff for, do I have my songs? Sweet. Sometimes I use Fog of War in these kind of scenes, but for now I don't. So I go here, I go Control M because hotkeys are decent. And then I'll be down here. Zoom this right out, and then I'll just straight up drag this onto the map layer. So if you haven't seen Roll20 before, this is pretty much as easy it is to create a map, right? So the other thing, oh man, is I usually, oh, go on there. It's got a little bit of bugs still, but no, that looks good. It'll get better quality once it loads. Control. Okay. So what I then want, I don't know if my internet's being slow because of the stream or what, but is that better? Okay. Yeah. So the quality is a little bit better there, and then I go to use other resources like Kobold Duck Club, Kobold Fight Club. I feel like this has been around for quite some time. So there's a few ways I do encounters. So like I've already got an encounter planned. Was it Edamu? I've got Tome of Beasts. So it's got some pretty cool monsters with unique effects, or just to mix it up a little bit. So where did I put them? Desert. I think I put him there. So check out this guy. Like that's going to be a cool, fun encounter for him. And if I go to his character sheet, he's got some cool abilities. So he's resistant to all that. So it's got to be basically magical. He's immune to pretty much every condition. He understands common. So if destroyed, it basically regenerates. Can move through other creatures. That's a normal incorporeal thing. But so here's this, like what I like to test it out is I go like this and whisper rolls to GM. This is your friend, so your players don't know what you're testing. I've learned this the hard way, so that guys have checked what this rolls were. Oh, I was going back to look at my rolls, and that's fair. I've done it before, but then I've accidentally rolled. So then when I do this, they see that. Okay, so it gets a +7 to its attack. The target must succeed on con saving throw, or its hit point is reduced by an amount equal to the damage taken. So what's the damage? Wait, what? The target must succeed. Amount equal to the damage taken. Oh my god. Like, that would kill them. You know what? I'm kind of glad I'm checking this right now. I don't mind them being in danger, but that's pretty deadly. Let's do 2 more sample rolls. 16, 14 to hit. So I mean, if he rolls bad, that's one thing. But look at that damage. Okay. So they have to be hit, and then they have to resist it. So it's only a 1 person. Uh-oh. Feel a sneeze coming. It's gonna be like my signature YouTube sneeze alert, wah, 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 and and I'll mute it, or I'll just have an emergency button, and it'll mute all my microphones, and you guys can just watch me sneeze. Anyways, so you know what? I kind of want them to fight that, but that's a challenge 4. So if I go to Kobold Fight Club, if I add that in there, and if I have 3 players who are level 4, it's considered a medium. But that's a serious move, man. It has its health point maximum reduced. If they don't succeed, 14 con save. That's not. Okay, so basically I'd have to go, if I did do that, I'll go to my characters, I'll go to my players, and I'll go to their. So it'll probably be Jormik or Lodro unless something stupid happens. And he's got 28 hit points. That's going to reduce him to 8 hit points. He gets all shriveled up and he's like a little man. And he's got like no... that's pretty cool though. Maybe I should just dial back the damage. That's what I'll do. So this is where it comes in. I feel like this is my job as a DM is to test this stuff out, right? So all I gotta do, no, I don't even have to go there. I just have to go to Water Siphon. So if I dial that back down to a 6 to hit and a 4 on hit. He's only gonna get 1 attack per turn, actually. Now that I think about that. And it's only 1 night, so if... I don't know, it might be worth it though. Okay, so if he gets hit like that, and then he doesn't succeed, then he drops 15 hit points, and it's maximum 24. That won't kill him. The target dies if the effect, so it won't kill him. What about the other 2 though? Like, Lodro's got a lot. Jormik will survive, and Navi will probably be in wolf form if shit really gets hairy. 30. Oh my god. Wait, what? Sometimes I feel like I gotta check, but I think, yeah, see? I think he's ready to level up. Because then I'll let him go back to Verlage, and then I'm gonna have them like kind of like hailed as champions, and they're gonna be like, maybe not hailed as champions, but there's gonna be rumors that there was a band of when they go there, if they ask about how, they'll tell the story of how a group of courageous, 2 devout warriors came in and tried to confuse them and ask their way into town. Oh, that was a good time. Well, their friends set up an ambush on the buildings, and they took back the town from the cultists, the dragons, and rescued. But they don't know who they are, and so they'll be like, oh, it was us. Yeah, that'll be fun too. See, all these ideas just come to me. So they're gonna fight the weakened Edamu in a desert. So I'm gonna save. Did I put him in the desert yet? Oh, I didn't even put one of these deserts in yet. Ooh, I feel like this is, whoa. It's never that smooth. Maybe they actually did a little update on that stuff. Because there's usually it gets stuck and glitches up on other things. 30, 30. Don't need darkness, but I do need to upload. Choose a file. Which one? Yeah, throw the ones with the rocks in for now. Maybe there's like a lone grave. They'll discover, like, if they investigate further and what was up with the Edamu. There's like a lone grave, and if the paladin says a prayer, that he hears like a loud wail, ah! And then the spirit of the Edamu finally like vanishes or something. Okay, highlights for tonight. Players. Oh wait, let's go check this out here. I should have my, oops, stepping on the cords. These are notebooks. Pretty sure I sketched this one out here somewhere. Did I sketch it in here though? I don't think I did sketch it in this one. Oh man, that's what happens when you got 3 notebooks. I don't think I did it in this one here. I think it might have actually been in this one. Oh yeah, heaven forbid I would mark down the page. I had it all planned out. I planned out a, not like a trap, but there's like a little puzzle if they want to get into that locked up treasure room. It's not a ridiculously hard one, but I spent all the time getting it ready. Ay, ay, ay. That sucks. Lame. Super lame. These are old ones. That's the old one. I think I did do it past this. White and thick. There it is. I did do it in here. Okay. So that's. Let's go back to this map here and let me confirm. So in this room here, this is where they currently are. We stopped right there. They can't see this. One cool thing. Okay, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. That one's uploaded. Look at that. The last time, June, July. I missed all of July. It's because my daughter was out here. But so one cool thing, if you're GM, Control L, you can see what the player's vision is. So the players ended up in this room. They fought this crazed half turning undead guy. His face and skin was just like falling off his body. He was partially undead. His eyes were glowing like red fires, like in the sockets, and he was like lighting up flame walls and doing all sorts of craziness. He killed him, killed his 2 minions that seemed to be listening to what he said, and then that was it. We stopped right there. So they're in this room. I've got it set up. There's a puzzle that they have to answer. So if I go to Control M, well, no, Control O, Control K, layer, token layer. So the idea was that if these players actually inspected these, there's actually little figurines in the bases of them that sit there, and once the figurines are put in, the room lights up. and or the torch lights up, and it actually contains like a spell incantation or whatever that opens up the other door. So the thing that's happened here is I'm saying that the lights are all going to be back on. I don't think they're going to remember that they're off. If they do, we'll say they went back on after they killed Logan. But so they noticed this part of the room here is actually like, oops, Alt. Alt lets you drop stuff wherever the hell you want. So it also looks like they broke something and they covered it up, right? So basically, they can try to figure out what they want to do. This looks like a door. It's sealed. There's no handle. They can inspect all they want. There's nothing on the walls. What they have to do is they have to put these in the correct order. So they've got figurines. They've already put some in. There's more figurines outside. But basically, I've got it written down here that they've got to put it in a certain order. Scorpion, beetle, vulture. And so what I'm going to have on the back walls here, or on the floor, or you can just barely make out is ancient etchings that correspond to each. So the scorpion is going to be like a little curved tail. The lizard is like a forked tongue. The camel is 2 mounds. Okay, I'm going to write those down actually. Those are very good descriptives that will help them. Okay, so we're going to put on DC. I'm gonna make it kind of hard, like 17. That's the fun part. You don't have to do it 15 or 20. DC 17 invest / percep players notice faded etchings on the walls. So BE beetle is three round shapes. Scorpion is the hooked. See, I wish I could just draw like this in so okay, so quote Q question mark 3 ovals. Haha, see, now I'm helping myself out. So I'm drawing the shapes down and my brain's thinking what they look like. So I'm going to use descriptive words. Vulture. What's a good describing of a vulture? Ooh, vulture's tough. Maybe I'll get vulture out of there. I thought I had some other samples of what I was going to put in there. Desert rose. Oh man, what's another? I had some other good. Well, vulture or bird or whatever. We'll just do vulture or bird. We'll just do. We'll do like. No, that's too close to the camel. I was going to describe it as two hills. Vulture. No, feather. That will be the easy one. This one is easy to make out as a feather. Okay, so there's beetle, scorpion, and vulture. The vulture is easy to make out. It's a feather. They can tell that one. Lizard. It looks like a Y. Camel is two mounds, and then the snake. Wait, the snake would have a forked tongue, wouldn't it? But then we'll do snake is an S, backwards S. Backwards. Okay, so when the players come in, and then if they start looking around, to help figure out, because what they'll do is they'll notice the figurines inside the fires if they really investigate in the other room. So you go back to the other room, you'll notice there's a couple figurines. There's one beetle statue, dark, and we'll put. So what we're going to do, it's going to be not correlated at all. We're going to do lizard and snake, and then scorpion and camel. Wait, no, scorpion and beetle, and then vulture and camel. And so beetle, what have we got? I put two statues in there. I can't remember what did they pick up? Chest from Ghouls, House with Demons, Side Mission, Sand Village, Great Axe 1, Crown. Beetle. So they've already got beetle, lizards, snake, and camel. So there's going to be 1 times... Oh no, there can't be any scorpion in there. So there's got to be... I'll just put them both in that room if they... There's 4 times statues. That'll be... vulture. So they need vulture and they need... Scorpion? Spear. Scorpion times 2 and snake times 1. Okay, that's what's in that room. Okay, and this one has the same stuff. There's two statues in there. I will just say there's a beetle and a snake. Beetle and a snake. Okay. So I don't know if that's, oops. So basically that's the simple layout that I work with to get there, and I've just helped myself decide what's going to be happening in the 2 rooms. I've got my loot list ready because that's what they're going to be doing first, is they're going to be going through here and figuring out what loot they're getting from it, and I think I actually have some cool stuff set up for them. That's what this one was. So the Great Axe +1, it's a wand of paralysis they got. If they decide to put that, I hope they don't put that crown on. I don't think they're that dumb. They've realized that touching it's not going to do anything, but they feel like it's going to. But see, the crown is safe to touch. What if one player will not be able to remove by own free will? The crown will grant the ability to raise dead as well as control fire magics, but the crown will decay the thoughts and physical form of the wearer. If worn for longer than 24 hours, the target's heart stops beating and is considered dead. So, I mean, I just made that item up. I don't think a player will try and put it on, but if they do, they cannot physically take it off. No matter what they do, they have no urge, no desire. Anytime they think about it, their brain wills them otherwise. They don't even, so it'll never cross their mind to take that crown off until it's like bound to them. And so that was the problem, was it was bound to that area that Logan had it. So he put it on there and he couldn't leave where he was. So the players have it now. I don't think they're going to be wearing it, but so these gauntlets are going to drop from the Naga, the skeletal Naga in the room to the south. Just another fun item. There's a website that generates weak magical items, and it just keeps my players going. Treat as a +1 armor if the bearer has any. So like, that's one item. Oh, this is the treasure room contents. They got the shading whip earlier, so which is nice. But the treasure room, it's going to be just some stuff, pouch gems, circlet of blasting. Check that one out. I think that was official. Is it loading? While wearing the circuit, you may use an action to cast Scorching Ray. You create 3 rays of fire and hurl them at the targets within range. You can hurl them at one target or at several. Make a ranged spell attack for each ray. On hit, and when you make the spell's attack, you may do so with attack bonus of 5. The circlet cannot be used. So basically, they get to add the spell to their book with a +5 attack bonus, no damage bonus. Will it let me roll it? I know they've been updating this thing. Scorching roll, 2d6, 8. Yeah, that's not too much damage. I just think it sounds cool, man. Could you imagine just having like a circlet and you're like shoot like a scorching ray out of it or something? I don't know how it works, but circlet of blasting. Wearing the circuit, you can use an action. I don't know. You could play it however you want to play it. So it's been almost 5 levels, and I haven't really given them anything too OP, I don't think. And I want the magical field to start really kicking in. So basically, tonight's gonna start off. They're gonna finish looting here. And just to keep it going, because I don't have too much stuff planned, I think what's going to happen is they can go in here, they can fight the Naga. That's going to be pretty quick and easy. I'm going to have it sprawled out on the floor, I think, actually. So when they come in, they don't notice it. It's just like bones all along the side of the room. And then as they come in, it's like, they start like quivering, on the whole thing like comes alive, and it's like a snake, and it surrounds them. And then they're going to be in that room fighting this thing. They're going to realize, I'm going to let the snake get out if they try and bail back. they're gonna be like, oh well, he's a large, and I'm gonna be like, well, he's a snake. So I'll let it just slide through if they bail back. These are all things that I've learned that I can do. I'm the dungeon master. If they want to question it, that's fine. But lots of times they'll question it, and then let's just do an ability check. And then they're like, oh okay, oh yeah, oh my strength I rolled a 17, and then I'm like, oh, I rolled a 20. He's got a +7 strength, and then they're like, oh shit. And I'm like, so yeah, he barrels past you. But anyways, that'll be one little combat there. That'll be them searching there. So then once they get back out of it, they are going to be, get out of here. I don't need to see you anymore. I don't need to see you. Be back for you. So this is where they were, at the edge of these mountain range here. This is another map I made with Flowscape. I think because I'm streaming, it's kind of limiting the load speeds of Roll20. So they're gonna come out here. Yeah, Navi was all tiny. I think she shapeshifted into a scorpion or a beetle or something. Oh yeah, she was a scorpion, and then Davos, the ranger, was like, yo, hop on my arrow. I'm gonna shoot you over the enemy and you can sting him. So he arcs back his arrow and phew, and then I made the scorpion roll like a strength check to hold on to the arrow, and he didn't. So then I made him flip a coin, 50-50, when he fell, because he only had 1 HP, if he was going to land on his feet or his scorpion back. He landed on his back, boom, turned into the druid in the middle of a room full of undead. It was a pretty good encounter. 133 hour. Okay. So they're gonna come out here, and I feel like let's go to this one. No, here. No, here. I'm gonna get there. I need to just play some video games. Move to layer, map layer, map layer. Zoom out. Drag this. So, I'm just trying to decide. I feel like I kind of want them to fight that Edamu, and I want it to be worthwhile. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to add in, let's see, do I have another map? Yeah, I have another one map made. So what I'll do, they'll come out, travel for a couple of days. They've got to stop at some point. Or they're going to come across, actually, they'll travel, they'll come into some weather, that's when the enemy will attack. So they'll do one fight, yeah, 30 by 30. Yeah, so they'll do one fight during the day, one fight during the night. You're not gonna like it. It's gonna, but that one part about Dungeons and Dragons balancing that took me a long time to understand is that most difficulties for a combat encounter are based off the theory that these are going to happen before a long rest. So if I set up a very hard encounter and that is it, it's not going to be very hard. It'll be easy because they can expend all their spells. But if I set up 2 encounters back to back, then it's going to change the dynamic of it. If they burn all their encounters on the first one because it's very hard, or sorry, if they burn all their spells and their abilities, then the second one, even though if it's an easy, it's going to be way harder when they don't have heals and stuff like that. So I've nerfed down the Edamu, who was officially going to be a pain in their butt. I'll let them fight him during the day. Let's go upload. We'll do the bear one. So we'll let them fight the Edamu here, have a somewhat crazy encounter. Maybe I should make... I'm gonna look for some other type of spirit. I've learned another thing too is one monster is not very hard. If the players get 3 or 4 attacks and the enemy gets 1, doesn't matter how hard the attack hits, they're gonna kill him in 1 turn. So I need to figure out some little spirits or fire sprites or something like that. So what I can always do, this is where again it comes into being, or I really enjoy it, is I get to, let's see, make sure I'm on the map layer. I get to change stuff around. So I can just go find a quick little icon and I can use sprite, the same buggers that I was using for my brother, even though they were in the Fae, they can be desert sprites. I just gotta find a little picture for them. Okay, so boom, let's go here. Let's go back to, it was here. Did I cut all those guys out of here? No, was it this one? See, and I hate how it jumps back there every time. I gotta scroll. Okay, where's the enemy? Control. Okay. Select. I'm gonna. Nah, I'm just gonna delete them from here. And then we'll go boom. Back to this one. And then we'll close up the characters. Mobs, desert. So the enemy. We'll put them here. So I'll describe how the storm's blowing around them, the wind starts to pick up, and next thing you know, they're being bombarded by something. So let's search. Just want like weak little guys. Fire. Fire snake, medium elemental from the monster manual. Giant fire beetle, 0 CR. Fire newt warrior, Bull's guide. So let's check out fire newt warrior and fire snake. No, I don't have them in there. I gotta check out here first. Fire snake. Sea of Ash on the elemental plane of fire. So all I'm gonna do is gonna probably use this guy and say that instead of it being vulnerability is cold, damage resistance, it is a medium elemental. Okay, I might modify this guy. So check this out. I'll go trying to find, see, this is my problem. I had this really cool picture of a snake made of sand. What if I try fancy desert snake? That top one up there is kind of cool. What to use, what to use. Ooh, look at that onyx down there. That's fresh. Nega. No, let's go back up. I think I will use this one here. Save image. View image. Save image as Des Snake Toke. And then I go, actually there's multiple ways of doing this. I go, wait, did I already close out of it? So go like that. Oh, no, I don't. Oh, yeah. Okay, that worked. And I go, you get out of here. Token maker. I keep it easy. So, and I'm going to totally describe this guy different too, right? I'm not going to describe it how he is there. I've got my same tokens I pretty much always use. Gray. Okay, can I just drag this one again? I can't remember. Yeah, I can. Yeah. Try dragging it from desktop. Fine. I will do desktop. Yep. Whoa. Dial it back a bit. Call it a scarab snake. So, download, save it. So I open container. So then what I do is I'm gonna go like this, and go Control K. I'm gonna drag the fire snake on there. Should add that, and then I go upload. Where's my folder? Drag this guy into here. And then he's going to be a token that I'll use. Just like that. So token goes down here. So what I want to do is I want to go shift click, character sheet. Wait, what? No, why doesn't it have his abilities? No, yes, it's not filled. What the schmeckle? Okay, what if I drag this one? Let's try this. Oh, for real, really? That is super lame. I'm not filling in a whole character. That's, I could make a character from scratch, but that's a lot of work. Fire Snoot, Fire Newt Warrior, what's that one? God, that bugs me. Fire Newt, oh my goodness. Newt. Bowler's Guide. Yeah, there we go. That looks exactly like what I'm talking about. Okay. Drag these guys in here. So help me God if he doesn't have it. What the frick is going on? I gotta go check my settings. Those characters should not be dragging in empty. I'm getting frustrated. Anyways, I think I will dial her down here. Anyways, I'm not getting a lot of viewers, so if anybody did pop by, thanks a lot. We'll end her here.